Richmond and Carlton. The return, of course, of our man Jakey, the push-up king, who's been out for too long, just a week, but that's too long. And he's back this week. We can't wait for that to get started, see what sort of an impact the little champ can have on proceedings. Well,
I tell you, and I can't say, we're not allowed to say apparently, but I think there'll be some very good crowd support
for
the
Jakey.
Push-up.
And so there should be, because he's Colt.
I know that we had the text messages. James he usually goes out and has a reasonably good drink on a Friday night, but he's saved himself up for some special push-up work today, Spuddy boy. And boy, hell, the little champ better get involved.
Deliver, otherwise
if he doesn't get involved, he can turn.
But I heard it's amazing how it's turned. Damien Hardwick, I heard his presser during the week, straight in. Straight in.
Oh, yeah.
Mate, he's a barometer.
We lack that forward pressure, the ability to set up goals.
Barometer.
I know that JB, he just comes to the games that the push-ups involved in.
Hey, and Spud, you know it. It's not just, when he gets the pill and then does some nice shimmy work and sometimes just runs straight over the top of blokes and does really weird-ass stuff. But it's also what he does away from the ball, which is talk enormous amount of front-on trash. He wants to punch and decapitate blokes. He takes a whole 1970s view to anyone physically assaulting him. It's just a beautiful setup.
And I believe, having had a week off, enormous amount of gym time.
He will have.
So it'll come out
guys like
rippling, Spud.
So guys like Chris Yarran in the back half for Carl, they beware.
He'll cop one today.
He came in to the Triple M studios to do Rush Hour about a month ago, and he took Bill on. It was the greatest mismatch ever in push-up contest. I think Big Willis managed to rip out 3 or 4. And as he was doing them, push-up started, and I reckon he had 20, 30 out before he could blink an eye, and in the end he got bored, so he then went with the Rocky one-handers, just like this, and then he was just up, and then he switched over to the other hand, and there he was.
Jim, they're only wee little arms.
I don't care.
But we did hear, Jack Revolt was telling us a funny story before the footy show. He said they did a recovery session out in the ocean there, and they made a big circle, and they used to get 2 blokes in the middle at to wrestle each other under the water on a cold day, which was funny. Push up and Richo shaped up within a minute. He reckons push-up just had Richo's head and was just dunking it in the water. Boom! Richo's floundering, he had arms floundering, he just was going boing, and the rest of them were roaring their heads off.
And what are you too, Jay? I reckon you've elevated his nickname up to the Lou Richards style of galloping gasometer and flying doormat.
Originally, when the article first came out, it was his first article, wasn't it? I did 1,000 push-ups.
Yep.
We probably took it all the wrong way,
didn't
we?
We
Thought
did.
he maybe got ahead of himself, young push-up, but he's been able to back it up.
He has. He's reinvented himself. And
No late changes, by the way, if you're heading to the ground for the big game and getting ready for a big push-up special. And have we got any Eddie Betts? Eddie Betts is one of our favourites too in the Carlton lineup. And Jeffy Garlett. So we're going to be even-handed, but push-up's probably in front.
Dimmer, we have a lot of fun with and absolutely love little Jake, the push-up king.
You especially, Jake.
He's a
For
superstar,
God's sake.
Dimmer. He's the best. He's an absolute champ. But I love the story attached to him too. He's turned his life around as much as his footy, and I just reckon he's a ripper. And but that's our perception of him. What about you from a coaching point of view? How is he to coach?
Look, he is a beauty. There's just one flaw. He's just too short. He's just become a little bit taller. But he's just a guy that we love having around our footy club, and every footy club has him. But he epitomises what we're about. He plays with passion. He's an outstanding leader too. A lot of people wouldn't know that, but he takes a lot of the young guys under his arm. Whether that's a good thing or not, I'm not too sure. But he's just a pleasure to coach and a guy I thoroughly enjoy. And, we really missed him last week. I'm not saying it would have been the difference, but he certainly adds to our side. There's no doubt about it. And I look forward to hearing your call today, JB, when he kicks a couple.
Let him go. Just do a couple of those funky things which we love.
Tell you what, Dimmer, don't take him off if there's any heat in the game. That's where Jim comes into his own.
Oh, no, we've watched the YouTube clip a couple of times with JB going absolutely berserk.
Well, be a man after your own heart, Dimmer, because you loved it when it got a little bit like that too. So
not quite as much as Jake does, though, mate. I'll give you a tip.
Jim versus Caro.
Oh, yes, that is
that's
a
from
beauty.
Jim G, and then P. Munns backs up Caro versus Jim. Caro's $1.01 favourite.
Oh, that's funny.
Can we start the bats with Damo and Andy Marr?
Yeah.
I'd really like to see, just get the lightweights
Battle of the
in
goggles.
there.
Can we wear our glasses?
And then you get 2 rounds with your glasses on and 1 round with them off.
No head hits, though. No head hits.
I'll tell you what. Has he copied you in somewhat? Because I saw on Channel 10 a couple of weeks ago he had the designer glasses that you've sort of made.
No
your
doubt
very
he
own.
aspires to be like the Warrior. No doubt about that.
300.
Yeah, I missed the 300.
Hey, haircut versus Bormy. What's that about?
Oh, yeah, I like that one.
Who is it? People don't know who
No,
that is.
Greg Baum from The Age, and haircut, Daryl Timms.
Oh,
That's the battle of the haircuts. One's got a helmet type set up, and then haircut, as we know, has got the straightest fringe in the West. Gets it cut by laser beam.
What
Spirit level.
what is it with you and haircut? I
Basically don't like haircut. Haircut makes a living out of all us. We make one little mistake, and there it is in confidential. Bloody haircut, I tell you. Sits there listening to us. He's probably listening now. Get stuffed, haircut.
This is Daryl Timms we're talking about.
One of the most respected long-termers.
He writes the what's it called?
Confidential. Always confidential.
He's like a dag on a sheep's ass. You clutch him. You just clutch him and get rid of him.
He's got a
You get rid of him. Crutch him.
He's got a
Out you
partner.
go.
Partner, he writes.
Down at
That's it.
South Bank.
Krista Kretzer writes the column with him, but Timsy's the one that writes the stuff that annoys Spud. There's no doubt about that.
No,
You
Mark
wanna-
Stevens works with us. I'm going to tell Steve how to crutch him. Get rid of him. Out the door.
I think you're being harsh.
Nah, not at all. I'm being honest.
Well,
It's as
have
simple
you
as
got
that.
a history, Spud? Is that what it is?
Um,
Did you ever run in back when?
Yeah, a little bit. He just, but I just.
Did you
don't-
attack him? Because Mick Moldhouse attacked
the
him at
last-
Waverley when
no,
he
it
was
was the
coaching
last
Westcote.
2
Physically
years.
attacked him and had him almost crying.
No, the last 2 years he tries to separate friendships through the media.
Oh.
Through his confidential pages. With me and BT there at one stage, and we fractured there for a while. And we smoked a peace pipe, and he writes it down, and then Brian rings me up and bristles, and then there was Craig Hutchison, which I'm happy with that one. And then he just tries to
I'm happy with
fracture
that one.
friendships through his confidential page.
Well,
It's not good enough.
He's just doing his job, Danny.
BT and Scott Cummings is coming through on the Twitter
Well,
like
that-
25 times. What's that
I'll tell
about?
you what, that would be
That'd
the
be-
heavyweight championship of the world.
Is that a genuine one?
That is a genuine one.
Wow.
What you didn't
Frosty.
hear, Damo, was while we were out getting a sausage roll at half-time last night, BT's pulled Chua aside and said, "Are you progressing in there, Chuey? You appear to have stagnated."
So much so that Chua hasn't turned up.
He
Though.
hasn't. It knocked the air right out of the little Chew man, and he's buggered off to a Chuka.
I think what Chew man has done, who is gone to a Chuka, he's been storing the North Melbourne 4 in a row of late, put them all together and said to Mrs. Chew, I'm cashing in. Let's get down to a Chuka.
Yeah, we've got
And
a
away
place
we
out
go.
at Rich River where there's a nice little spa. He needs a spa to fire up, Chew man. They're going to get the bubbles. He'll put the 4 games on a loop.
Don't-
Poor old Mrs. Chew.
Jim, don't put the spar on high because the bubble goes over his head and he can't see what he's doing.
There's been a lot of friction the last 4 weeks, though,
It's
hasn't
just been extraordinary. And of course, during the week we got the All Stars game against the Big V and the EJ Whitten, and we love that one on a Thursday.
If we had
Tuesday.
time, I'd get Spud to critique every single player and give us a rare insight into them, but we don't. But who should we be looking at, Spud? The
no,
sort of critique you gave us just before.
The great names, the Richard Champion, Nick Davis has been outstanding. Jason Ackermanis, he'd be happy with that. I'm looking forward to Carey. I saw him.
He'd be happy with that,
Yeah.
Spud reckon.
Wayne, I'm looking forward for the big duck just to tear someone another one because he looked that fit on the footy show on Thursday night, the big fella.
But you know what? He could end up on Presty Perry Coburn.
Yeah,
you know,
he's still playing.
who's still playing.
I want to know who Michael Whipfly is, number 9 for Victoria.
Works with
Got me.
Fitzy on the radio.
One interesting player
yeah,
that the viewers will watch is Nick Saunter now. He won the goal kick in the VFL for Sandy, I think, on 9
times.
occasions. And
He's
he works at Etihad.
Yeah, he works. He does. He works at a state. He's a 2IC, and he was at Melbourne for a little while when I was there, but couldn't crack in because I think Alan Jellyfish had his spot. and
No,
Darren
I think
Bennett-
that you ignored him, basically.
Gary.
Gary
you
Lyon
doing
never
a Sam
talked to him.
Newman style work.
no fear.
Big, but I tell you what about Craig Hutchison? I'm still
Listen to
yet
me.
to be
Now
convinced
listen,
he's playing.
I'm putting. I've had enough of this.
You've talked it up.
I've had enough of people talking him down. He deserves to be in there.
How does he deserve
He's
to
a
be in?
genuine star of the media, a star of the media, and he's got
Gary,
real football talent.
how is he going to cover the ground? I've seen a few
All
of the
right.
trick bags.
All right.
How's he getting around?
Okay, his mobility may not be his strong suit, but if he can get it into his hands,
Yeah.
you watch the stuff start to fly.
Well-
He can kick him from anywhere.